We meet again at last. The circle is now complete.
What's the world coming to?
Well, you got a problem with what I did, Anthony?
Oh, no. Hey, no.
Fucking rat anyways. Whole family's all rats. Would have grew up to be a rat.
Stupid bastard. I can't fucking believe it.
Gee, I'm real sorry your mom blew up, Ricky.
Now you're gonna dig the fucking thing. You're gonna dig the hole. You're gonna do it. I got no fucking line. You're gonna do it.
Yes, I'll take the fucking hole. I don't give a fuck.
I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was pure and simple evil.
Jesus Christ. Mister, you okay in there?
Put some Disney costumes around here someplace.
Have you any idea what the cost of your actions is? What their effect might be? Or are you to give them hope? What do you give them? We give them happiness. And they give us authority.
Groovy.
What's going on, friends? Logan Myers and Henry, Harry, and Harold.
Harvey.
Phil. Harvey are here with us in Cinephellas Studios. We're doing Cinephellas Podcast, episode 51. How you wild boys doing today?
Oh, I'm over here at Big Ray's getting some barbecue. And I'm going to head back home and get back on Disney Plus. Boy, those boys are wilder than everybody I've ever seen. Cinephellas would like to take a break to thank their sponsors. Hey, this is Big Ray. Come on down to Big Ray's. Get yourself a big old slab of meat. And get your oils lubed and get some new windshield wipers while we're at it. That's Big Ray's. And you enjoying Disney Plus?
Oh, man. I just signed in this morning, checked it out. Love it so far. All the content at your fingertips. Thank you to the new streaming service. I watched The Mandalorian, but I'm going to be watching some more tonight after work. But I'm really excited for it. What about you? Have you watched any TV shows there?
You've enjoyed the interface of Disney Plus. I've been loving it, dude. It's been kind of glitchy, and I've read some news stories online that they're having some technical issues, which I figured would happen with so many people signing up, probably millions. There's going to be some glitches.
Yeah, it's probably overloaded their servers and shit. Yeah, because mine was kind of glitchy this morning. It kind of dropped out a few times when I was watching The Mandalorian.
Right. It's going to happen day one. They'll fix it. No big deal. Anyways, I was just able to finish watching my first Disney Plus series. It was one that we've been waiting for, The Mandalorian, like you said. And it was awesome, dude. Loved it. I was able to I tried to use the app on Fire Stick, but it was glitchy. I was able to open up the app on my iPhone and then just use AirPlay to my TV, and I just streamed it that way, so there wasn't any issues.
Dope. Yeah, I just downloaded the app on the Roku TV that we have and just signed in. It works fantastically. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to revisiting all the Marvel and Star Wars movies and things like that, the old cartoons.
Yeah, man. I scrolled through it this morning just to take a look at all the content. Oh, man. So many good things, like even stuff that you didn't even think of. Like I started with Marvel and some through there. But then, I started going through, their, they have, old series, like you said, all the stuff from the 90s. They have, all the cartoons we grew up with. Darkwing Duck, Chip and Dale, X-Men's on there. And all the movies, just the movies you don't even think of being associated with Disney. But there's the library on Disney Plus is awesome. There's thousands and thousands of movies and shows. Well worth the money, I'd say. And I bet it's going to be huge for Disney. They're pretty much taking over the world, like we said. And this only speeds up the process.
It's terrible weather here in the Chicagoland area. It's 10 degrees out. We had 6 inches of snow up here, so it's getting hibernation season. You get snowed in, and what a perfect present before Christmas, to sit around and binge TV shows and movies. So I'm really excited for Disney Plus. I'm going to be watching a lot of the content and definitely doing some reviews for our YouTube channel.
For sure. There's so much that we are going to have to watch. There's all the original movies that are going to be coming. Plus, you have The Mandalorian that's going to be released weekly. I guess we're going to get the second episode in a couple days. And then after that, they'll release it like once per week, which is cool. It spaces it out so you don't like just go through it real quick and then you're waiting 2 years for season 2. You know, it'll take its time and get you used to the characters, get to know the universe. So far it's awesome though. Like the production value, it looks beautiful. It feels like it's in the Star Wars world. It feels a little different, like it should. The character's cool. Pedro Pascal does a good job. You know, he's, you can hear, you know, you hear his voice. Like it sounds a little like it's, computerized obviously because he has all the armor on. There's some cool characters. I thought it was awesome to see Carl Weathers back.
Hell yeah.
He hasn't been in much for the past, I don't know, at least decade, probably even 20 years. So it's awesome to see him back, and his role looks pretty cool. He looks good. What else? You know, there's some cameos in there. Apparently, I was just looking at an article online, and I said Brian Posehn, or I don't know how you pronounce his name, but he's on The Big Bang Theory. The comedian. He made a cameo in the beginning, and then apparently the first bounty that the Mandalorian has in the beginning there was Horatio Sands from SNL back in the day. Remember Horatio Sands? He was kind of like the fatter comedian. Right. Yeah. So that was apparently Horatio Sands there. There's some really cool Easter eggs too. I read an article on that and I missed some of those. Obviously the big Easter egg from the Star Wars universe at the very end, like you were just texting me. That was really cool to see. We're not going to spoil it here, but the ending's pretty awesome.
Yeah, the introduction of a familiar face that we know from all the Star Wars movies. Fantastic. I really love the first episode that we got of The Mandalorian. I love the whole set design, all the action, the introduction, all these characters, a lot of new faces, a lot of different creatures. I like the use of practical effects. They use a lot of that in some CGI. And Pedro Pascal, playing this character, I think he did a really great job. He's kind of menacing at times. He can kick some ass. And other characters they introduced in this episode, it's really good. It has me invested already. I'm looking forward to the next episode and kind of seeing where they go from here. It does feel like in the universe of the original Star Wars movies, but it also has that like grittiness to it, like Rogue One. It's kind of darker, which I enjoy.
Right. Yeah. It does have that same vibe as Rogue One. You're right.
And just absolutely loved it. I thought they did a really great job with the first episode, giving us a little taste of what they're going for with The Mandalorian. And, they're going to keep putting it on each episode each week. We have to wait a week in between, which kind of sucks for me because I always forget what happens because I watch like 30 movies in a week and TV shows. Yeah. And it's hard to what happened last week? So I'm one of those people that likes to binge things, so I'm not too fond of having to wait every week, but whatever, I'll deal with it.
Maybe they'll do like a little maybe they'll do a little recap at the beginning of the episode. Who knows how it'll do. Plus, I don't know, with it being the pilot, you'll probably want to watch it once more anyway, just to make sure you took everything in, didn't miss anything. Because I was going to tell you, there's a big spoiler. Somebody from the Star Wars universe spotted in one of the scenes that I didn't see, but pretty big. I'll tell you that after we're done recording. Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, there's some definitely callbacks in regards to Carbonite.
Yeah, that
Carbonite.
Was cool.
Obviously from Return of the Jedi. I'm not going to say who comes across some Carbonite, but it's definitely a callback to that movie. It's cool that they, implemented that into this episode. It's really cool. I love that.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of like we said, a lot of good Easter eggs, a lot of things to tie in the whole universe. I think this one takes place, what is it, like 50 years, 50 years, something, not too long after Return of the Jedi, a few decades later. So after the fall of the Empire and everything. And then you have that character played by Werner Herzog, who's seems like he was probably one of the higher ups of the Imperial Guard. So because he has those stormtroopers with him in that one scene.
Exactly.
Where the Mandalorian comes in. Yeah. So obviously there are still enemies out there. It's not like a totally, Luke and Han and Leia didn't totally save the day. There's still problems. they're still trying to hold on and find some power back. So.
Yeah, for sure. I loved Werner Herzog's character in this. You could definitely tell, like you were saying, he was like a higher up, and he had stormtroopers. Yeah. And it was cool seeing stormtroopers in this episode too. I'm like, those goofy sons of bitches that can't shoot to save their life.
I know, with their penis-shaped helmets.
Exactly. So, yeah, I don't want to get into too many more spoilers, but definitely everybody out there listening, check it out. Check out the first episode of The Mandalorian. It's on the Disney Plus streaming service. Brand new service, brand new show. We highly recommend it. Check it out. Yeah, so next up, Henry and I wanted to talk about Dr. Sleep, Mike Flanagan's sequel to the famous Stanley Kubrick film, The Shining. Came out just recently. I was super excited to see this. This is one of my most anticipated films of the year. I reviewed it on our YouTube channel. I have not read the book, but I know, Henry, I think you listened to the book, right? Dr. Sleep?
Yeah, I got through about half of it, and I stopped there because I heard there were some differences towards later on in the film, and I didn't want to be, disappointed or anything. I wanted to see the movie first, just because it's so close. But up until the part where I read it followed the book very closely.
Oh, it did?
I think they changed it. Yeah, it did. It did a great job too. A lot of that stuff that I was picturing, I pictured those characters in like the setting where it was filmed in that little town, and then he was like the little like train conductor there in that little park, tiny town or whatever. That's all in the book, the True Knot, the villains in the film with Rose the Hat, that's all pretty close to the book too, and a lot of that I pictured similar looking characters like the old guy. You remember the old like the oldest gypsy guy in the film that looked super old. Yeah, he's in the book. And then Crow Daddy was in the book. Everything, I'd say very faithful to the book for the first, I've only read up to the first half, but very faithful to it. And then I think what Mike Flanagan did was, with the second half, he wanted to take it back and bring it back to The Shining, the actual movie. So he kind of did both. He stayed faithful to the book, but then he also, took fans of The Shining and he added some stuff, obviously taking them back to the Overlook Hotel there at the end.
The best part of it.
Yeah, awesome part. But yeah, just I thought it was great. I thought it was very well done, a very worthy follow-up to The Shining. Ewan McGregor was a great Danny, I thought. And yeah, what'd you think? How'd you think they did with the, obviously they didn't get Shelley Duvall and Jack Nicholson back. There were some other actors, and then little Danny was a different boy too. But they did a lot of scenes from the original with these new actors.
Yeah, they recreated a lot of scenes and like what happened to Wendy and Danny after the events of The Shining, of Jack dying. Like them picking up and like living in an apartment. I thought they recreated all that pretty great. The actress that played Wendy, I didn't really buy because she had really nice teeth.
Yeah, I know exactly. Her teeth aren't as fucking enough.
Yeah, right. It's a small nitpick because Shelley Duvall is kind of goofy looking. But the little kid, he was great as Danny Torrance. I couldn't see a difference, honestly. And I liked how they brought back some other characters. I don't want to spoil anything from the original Shining. I thought they looked pretty good too. They obviously had different actors playing them, but they pulled it off, I thought. And Dr. Sleep, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I'm really depressed that this movie bombed at the box office and lost like a ton of money. I thought that it was a really great movie. Yeah, it was a bit long. I mean, they could have cut it down like 15, 20 minutes. Solid like 2 hours. But I had a great time with it. I loved revisiting the Overlook Hotel, seeing Danny Torrance and, middle age. He's an alcoholic, much like Jack Torrance's father, going to AA or going to, rehab and therapy and all that shit, trying to get better, and then coming across this girl that has The Shining like him, and then setting up, what do they call the True Knot, right? The True Knot?
Yeah, the True Knot. Yep. It's like that group of gypsies that, travel around and they're looking for, people with The Shining, and that's basically how they survive. And you find out that some of them are, they're super old, like they've been around, like the old guy. There's a scene and Rose the Hat's talking to him, and she mentions how, he was alive back to see, back when the Romans were still in charge and when the gladiators were in the Colosseum. So he's They feed on basically the souls, or the shine actually of these, they seek out the shine, they can sense it, and they sort of travel around, the country looking for people with the shine. And then they have these canisters basically that when they kill their victims, the shine goes in the canisters. So they sort of feed on that. And, basically after we, catch up with older Danny and he gets established in this new town that he moves and he meets Abra and everything, then we sort of fast forward a number of years. So when he actually meets Abra and the True Knot is slowly dying, they haven't been able to find too many people with the shine, but then they get a sense of Danny and Abra and they feel like, it's obviously a really strong, the Shining's really strong with Danny Torrance and Abra. So, the True Knot eventually comes to find him. And then Rose the Hat, of course, is the leader. I thought she did a really awesome job as the villain in this. She's very menacing, but also very, I'd say welcoming. She seems like she's a nice lady.
Seductive.
Seductive, obviously.
Hello there.
Yeah. Well, hi there. Yeah. She just walks up to everybody when she meets them and she says, well, hi there, to everybody. There's several cool scenes where Abra and Rose the Hat are getting in each other's heads. I thought that was awesome. All those scenes were pretty cool, pretty awesome.
Shot very
visuals
well.
too. Yeah, shot awesomely. When Rose was up on the camper, and it's almost like she floats out of body experience, but it shows her going through the air, going way up in the air and floating into the window, and just really awesome visuals. Yeah. And I guess that's Mike Flanagan for you. I mean, a lot of that looked very similar to Haunting of Hill House.
It did.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a darker movie too. It's a lot of blues and grays in the movie, just the way it looks. And
right.
Rebecca Ferguson, definitely one of my favorite villains of the year for sure. Like I said in my review, I'm not familiar with her work. Never seen her in anything. Maybe Mission Impossible back in the 90s, but it's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she did really great as Rose the Hat, one of the most menacing villains of the year for sure, and just a really fantastic performance. I thought one of the best of the movie for sure.
She's like a Stevie Nicks kind of character, hippie-ish. And
magician hat.
The magician's top hat. It would be kind of cool to get a backstory on the whole hat thing. I guess that's all in Stephen King's head. Really cool character. Some of those. It's in a couple of scenes there, especially that one where they're fighting with Danny and Abra, and they're surround them, and then they're easily killed. We thought they're kind of weak villains, but I guess it's just because they were in a weak state, they needed the shine, so that kind of explains how they were able to kill them so easily. You know what I mean? When they were shooting them in the park there in that scene, we just felt they were kind of weak. All it took was a shot. We thought maybe they could be more, it'd be kind of cool to see them full power, how hard it would be to stop them. We just thought they just most of those characters from the True Knot just were killed easily, and then you're just left with Rose the Hat at the end there. But minor complaint, just stuff like that. Of course, then you see like we said, you see some people similar. Obviously they're, recast, but you do see characters from The Shining, a lot of it. See a lot of cool scenes with that at the Overlook, and I thought the way that everything ended was really cool.
Hell yeah, I love the ending of the movie.
Yeah, that was cool, very cool. Definitely one of my favorites of the year, and I'm bummed too that it bombed. I think it would have helped a lot if it was released right before Halloween. A week after Halloween, everybody's like, oh, okay, time to look forward to Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah, right. Holiday spirit, and then I thinking about horror movies.
So I think that probably hurt it, and maybe some of the marketing, they could have hit it a little harder with the marketing. I don't think they showed up at Comic-Con or anything to promote it.
And that's surprising.
I don't know. That does surprise me too. Yeah, I didn't even really know too much about Midway besides it was, another Roland Emmerich extravaganza. I didn't think it would get beat by Midway, but it happened. So maybe with a positive word of mouth, because I know I've only read good stuff about it online and heard good things about it. So I think that.
Yeah, I think the overall problem was people just didn't go see it. That's why they lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the people that saw it loved it. And
those
people, we loved it. It's my number 5 favorite movie of the year. I give it a 4.5 out of 5 hair pieces. And you gave it a 4, right?
Yeah, I give it a 4, probably. Yep. I thought it was, it was just as good as I expected, and I was happy. It was a worthy follow-up to The Shining. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, people need to go support this movie and make sure, get some more money at the box office. Because, Mike Flanagan's one of my favorite directors, one of the best movies of the year. Recreating one of the most famous hotels in all of movies, The Overlook. Like, recreating that, like, shot for shot is pretty impressive as a director, filmmaker. And they pulled that off, at the very end of the movie.
They really did, yeah. It felt like the same little bar area as The Shining. I think it looked like, you remember The Office that Jack Torrance meets with the guy? Yeah, I think that same office was in that. Like, it was with that other guy. But, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's like a recreated office of where Jack first got the keys and everything and made the agreement to be the caretaker there at the Overlook.
Yep, they did that. Exactly. It's the same office, same color scheme. There's even the same red folder on the desk.
Yeah.
The guy's talking to Danny. See the red folder on the desk that was in the original Shining. So, like, it's perfect. Like, they just recreated everything. So, lots of really great Easter eggs and callbacks for this movie to Shining.
The maze looked awesome. It looked like just like when they were running through it in the beginning, in the first one.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, that's it for, Dr. Sleep, a great flick. Henry and I both thoroughly enjoyed it, loved it. We'll pick it up on 4K Steelbook when that comes out. And highly recommend it. So if you guys have not seen it, go support Dr. Sleep, support Mike Flanagan. Great filmmaker. And you won't be disappointed.
So yeah, everybody, we got the Fellas giveaway going on for this month. We posted a video the other day on our social media pages and up on YouTube, and we're going to be giving away the digital code for the just released Batman Beyond animated series. It's a series that I never actually watched back in the day, so I was happy to be hooked up with a copy from our pals over at Warner Brothers. It was a series that aired in 1999 to 2001, and it had the kid from Boy Meets World did the voice for the new Batman. Basically, it takes place in the future. Bruce Wayne's all old, and there's a new Batman that's avenging. He's got his own story. He's got to avenge something that happened to him. So, it was an acclaimed series. Like I know from animation and everything, it looks really awesome. The way they did Gotham City, very futuristic. But anyways, yes, we are going to give away the digital code for the entire series, all 3 seasons. And we want to hook up one of you guys and thank you for following us and for, watching all our videos and following us on our website. So on November 20th, we will be drawing the winner. And all you have to do to enter into this Fellas giveaway is just leave a comment under any of the posts with this. And you just have to answer who does the voice of Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond. Answer that and use the hashtag Fellas Giveaway, and you'll be entered in. And we will randomly draw somebody for a winner on November 20th, and we will get you that digital code.
So that's, for Fellas giveaway. And I think I'm going to do another giveaway this month for another digital code, but I'll announce that the next week or so. But yeah, check us out on our social media platforms, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and enter into the contest for Batman Beyond 3 seasons on digital code. Ooh, what a good deal, boys. And we'll announce
Take it easy, boy. I hope Big Ray wins.
Next up, I interviewed Logan Marshall Green last week about his new film, Adopt a Highway, his directorial debut. And he actually wrote the script as well. Really fantastic story. We have Ethan Hawke playing this ex-con, gets out of prison, finds a baby in a dumpster. And the situation's like, what do you do in that situation? You're on parole. You find a baby in a dumpster. You don't want to call the cops. He's like, how'd you get it? But a really great story. I had the chance to interview Logan Marshall Green. We've been fans of his since the early 2000s, watching the OC when he played Trey Adams. Thursday night OC nights where we'd make popcorn and watch the OC on Fox.
We promise we're both straight men.
We are. We're both married. But, I had a really great time interviewing Logan Marshall Green about this movie. His career, upcoming projects, things like that. That full interview is up on our YouTube channel and SoundCloud. So if you guys have SoundCloud, you should subscribe to us over there on that website. And we'll have more podcasts there and Apple Podcasts, so you can stream it on your mobile devices. Now, coming up, we have some more interviews. You're going to be interviewing a guy from that gangster movie, right, Henry?
I'm hoping so. I haven't heard back from the lady. I guess I should probably try emailing her again.
Yeah. So, look forward to more interviews up on our website and social media platforms. We got some good ones coming up from Henry and Niall Fortner. Besides that, in movie news, there's been a lot of stuff going on recently. They just released a brand new poster and trailer for Blumhouse's Fantasy Island. It's that TV show from 70s and 80s. It's like a reimagination of that TV show, but it's horror based, obviously, because Blumhouse is attached, so people showing up and probably dying and not making it off the island. But they just released that. Oh, we posted
Michael
that
Pena.
Yeah, Michael Pena.
That's awesome. He's great and everything.
Yeah, he's playing the Mr. Ward, the main character.
Yeah, I checked out the trailer last night. It looks pretty cool. Basically, these people go there and they get to live out their fantasies. And this guy it's kind of reminds me of Westworld, just with the whole experience. But eventually, as these people are getting to live out their fantasies, obviously there's going to be some murdering and then mayhem involved. The trailer looked pretty good. I'll probably check it out. I'm not totally 100% all in, going to see it opening weekend, but I eventually will check it out, especially from Blumhouse. They make a lot of cool horror films, so I'll be checking it out.
One of the best in the business for sure. With that being said, they just released a teaser trailer for Westworld Season 3 hitting HBO in 2020 sometime. The title of the trailer was Insight, introducing a lot of new characters that we haven't seen in Westworld yet. But they just released that. It looks pretty fantastic. I need to get caught up in that show, but I got until 2020, so hopefully I'll get the first 2 seasons, binge watch those, so I'll be ready.
Yeah, definitely watch those. And it's the kind of show where you have to be paying attention. You can't have your phone. You got to watch it all because there's a lot of dialogue and there's a lot of things going on. It's very smart and well written, and it's very science fiction. So you got to pay attention. There's a lot of mind trickery, especially that first season. It was solving a puzzle, how the season unfolded with all the characters. And season 2, just as intense. The way that it ended and going into season 3, it's awesome. And Aaron Paul's joining the cast. That's really cool. He's a great actor. Obviously, we love him from Breaking Bad. His character looks cool, and he's going to come into contact with one of the major people from the first 2 seasons of Westworld, played by Evan Rachel Wood, who was great on the show. Her character's awesome. So I can't wait, because these characters have been trapped on basically a theme park, and in season 3, they actually get loose in the real world, at least, in the world presented on Westworld. So it'll be cool to see about what Aaron Paul's character is going to be, how he's going to, relate to the characters that we already know, and what other mind crazy puzzle is the creators of Westworld going to create with this season, because season 1 and 2, both of them were intense and there was a lot going on and very cool. So I'm looking forward to it.
Hell yeah. Westworld Season 3. Check out the trailer they just released, and that'll be returning 2020. In other news, they just released Warner Brothers. Our friends over at Warner Brothers just released the first official trailer for Scoob, the lighthearted animated origin story of Scooby and Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. It's the animated film. It looks all right. I watched the trailer yesterday. But yeah, they're kind of doing a Pixar kind of take on it, where it's animated,
Right. Yeah. I saw the news story, but I actually didn't watch the trailer, so I have nothing to add to the conversation. But Scoob. I wonder if there'll be any weed references. Probably not in the kids movie, but everybody knows that Scoob and Shag were big.
They're getting their munchies in their van. Probably not when they're kids and young. So
yeah,
it looks all right. It's not blowing me away, but that trailer was just released. They'll be coming out May 15th in 2020. The origin story is Scooby and Shaggy. Another trailer they just released today. Any fans of Homeland, a Showtime show starring Claire Danes?
Great show.
Emmy winner Claire Danes. I watched like the first 4 seasons. I gave up on it because just ran out of time. But the first 4 seasons I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I'm caught up and everything. I'm like you. I didn't watch them when they first aired, but then all you have to do is watch like one episode and then you just like binge them. It just sucks you in, dude. It's such good writing. Claire Danes knocks it out. Like she should. I'm pretty sure she has won Emmys for it, but yeah, she should win like every year. She's just great. She plays a really complex character, has mental issues and emotional problems, and she's trying to basically save the world from all these terrorists and bad things going on. And then Mandy Patinkin as Saul Berenson. He's a great character too. And those two just work so well together. It's like one of the most dynamic teams that we've ever seen on TV. So it'll be interesting to see how this final season will play out. Like the way things ended in the last season. I think Saul and Carrie are kind of, they're not working closely together. They're kind of split apart and, not exactly getting along how they always do. So it'll be interesting to see how they get brought back together and how they're going to tie up, this show and Carrie Matheson's story, because she's had a lot of ups and downs. It's been kind of hard. It's been like a rough go. She's had like tragic things happen to her every season. So it'll be nice to see. Hopefully she gets a good ending, as good as it's going to be for Carrie, and she can like actually relax and not worry about the next the next tragedy or the next thing facing the United States.
I love their characters in the show. I need to get caught up in that. But the final season is going to be hitting Showtime in February 9th. The final season premieres. So check out that trailer. We posted it on our social media platforms if you guys have not seen it.
Speaking of Showtime, Shameless just premiered their season 10 premiere episode on Sunday, and I was able to watch it. Still keeps that quality. I don't know. Shameless is just, there's been some seasons where it's lagged a little bit and you could have gave up, but if you stick through it, man, it's just as good. There's a lot of heartfelt moments. It's crazy. This family's grown up. These kids are now just like Fiona. They're older, and even some of the characters are having families of their own already. It's pretty crazy. Basically, you see Debbie. She's in charge of the family now. Fiona, in the last season, she had her final episode. So yeah, basically you see Debbie stepping up and taking care of the family. But you also have Carl, who we remember being, the baby in the show. He's now going on to middle school, basically, and his character's kind of cool. He's trying to discover like his heritage and stuff. He's never thought about it before, how he's different. Obviously being an African American baby in this family, this white family. So he's like questioning and everything, and he's learning in school about Black history. He dresses up with a dashiki on, and he has a big fro, and he's playing Frederick Douglass. He like goes into school for some like class assignment. So that's pretty funny. I'm just seeing how he interacts with the other kids. And then you have Carl, who's getting done with the Army in the premiere episode. So him and his girlfriend there, his new girlfriend from last season, she comes back. She's great too. She's sort of a military girl too, around the same age as him. And they're both like sex crazed in this episode. And they only have so much longer to spend because she's being called away. I think she's in the Army, I want to say. She's going to have to go on duty. So she's like, we have these 48 condoms and we have 32 hours. Do you think you can do it, Carl? And Carl's like, yeah. So it's just them trying to like bang the whole episode. And they're like driving around, road tripping in her truck. So it just, it's funny. It's funny as hell. And then you just have Frank, of course, he's still up to his ways. He's still surviving, still just as, messed up as he's always been. And you have Louis Guzman, sort of his buddy, who's, brought back from last season. He's this other homeless guy that he met Frank, and they get along, and they're always, they're out scheming together. So it's pretty cool to see him have somebody else to play off of and like follow him around. That's a funny combo. What else is new? Oh, Kev's character is hilarious. He did some stripping last season while he's back, and it's a pretty funny scene. He goes into the strip club looking to make a little bit more money. He talks to this guy, the owner of the place, and he's asking him questions, and he's like, all right, we'll give you a shot here. Come back at 5. So Kev gets there, and he's like back, getting ready before the show, before he walks out there, and he looks around, there's all these like middle-aged, like 50-year-old, 60-year-old guys there. He basically finds out it's like strippers for like older people. So he goes out in a song and like has a fake mustache on. It's pretty funny.
They're stretching the script a little bit, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, but it's just funny. It's hilarious, and he plays it so earnestly. He just plays like the big dumb oaf really well. Another funny scene with him is he's playing basketball. He's the only white guy on the team, and like he's always asking for the ball, like, come on, throw me the ball, and then they finally throw him the ball, and he like throws up a brick like badly. He's like terrible at basketball. So like he goes home and he's like talking to V. He's like, man, I suck. And then he basically blames it on like not taking supplements and not having a good pair of shoes, because like his tennis shoes are all beat up. So like basically that's why he strips. He wants to make extra money so he can get these like expensive shoes to play basketball. And then at the end he gets the new pair. And they throw him the ball again, and he still bricks. That's kind of how the episode ended. Pretty funny.
That's fantastic. I need to revisit Shameless since it takes place in Chicago, which is awesome.
You should, man. Yeah, that's an easy one to get caught up with. Once you get rolling too, you'll be right back into it, man. And episodes aren't that heavy. It's the kind of show you can, if you're doing something else, it's not like you're going to miss too much. You can kind of still keep track of it if you're doing it. It's
not super plot heavy.
Yeah, exactly. It's just watching all those actors, like just, they're all funny. They all have, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so coming up this week, we have Ford versus Ferrari, James Mangold's newest film starring Christian Bale and Matt Damon, hitting cinemas around the world. We're going to check it out Thursday night. So far, the reviews have been really good, so I'm really excited to see this. I watched Matt Damon on Conan talking about the movie and stuff. It just got me really excited for it, seeing Matt Damon and Christian Bale, two fantastic actors working alongside each other.
Just the first time?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't seen them in anything else together. But, two completely different opposite actors working together, and I guess it really worked. There's a really, great fight scene in the movie between the two. They're like beating the shit out of each other. Matt Damon is talking about it on Conan recently. Awesome. So I'm looking forward to that movie. It's coming out Thursday. I'll be reviewing that for our YouTube channel.
Yeah, in a couple of weeks we'll have the Irishman. Obviously, it'll be finally out on Netflix, and be able to finally sit down and enjoy that.
Yep, we got the Irishman. I was looking around. The movie's not playing anywhere around me. I think the closest place is like Madison. It's like 2 hours from here, so I'll probably just have to wait till it hits Netflix. I'm not going to see it early.
Uncle Randy got to see it. I saw on Instagram he posted.
Really?
Yeah, Uncle Randy from our old site. Yep.
Oh, no shit. That's awesome.
He got to see it. Yeah, he posted a pic.
Yeah, I know Kevin Muller's going to see it in New York, where he lives. Nice.
Yeah, I know. Just a couple weeks away, though. I mean, would have loved to have seen it in the theaters for sure, but that's cool if it's gonna come in on Netflix, and I'll be able to sit here and watch it. It just kind of sucks. It's right around Thanksgiving. I'm gonna be traveling, so most likely I won't probably get. Yeah, I probably won't get to it maybe until the weekend, but that's fine. I'm just gonna block out, 4 hours of time, and I'm gonna start that, and I'm gonna watch it straight through. Try not to pause it, just like soak it in, because the reviews have been phenomenal. Everybody's raving about it, saying it's like the next masterpiece, basically, and different, in the same kind of world as Goodfellas and Casino, but also totally different. But it also makes like a great bookend to these, to that kind of trilogy of films there. And everybody's acting supposed to be awesome. I've heard a lot of good things about Ray Romano in the role. He plays a lawyer. And then I listened to a podcast recently, and they were talking about, I'm trying to think of who it was that they were talking about. Stephen Graham was on a podcast, and he was talking about meeting with Marty and how he got cast and everything. And of course, he knew him from Boardwalk Empire. And basically, Marty told him, called him and said, "Hey, we're thinking about making this movie, and we got a part, and we think that you'd be great. Would you mind coming over and meeting with me, and we'll talk about it?" So, he flew out there to New York to meet Scorsese, and Bobby De Niro was there too. So they all met, and they ended up coming to the agreement that he'd be great for the role. So I guess he has a great scene in the movie, apparently, that they were talking about. He'll be in it a lot. He plays like a boss. And then you just have, it's like a great supporting cast. And then you have the trio of De Niro, Pacino, and Pesci that are just supposed to be awesome. Pesci's supposed to it's like different from anything he's ever played. Like he's like older and quiet, and he's the main Don. And of course you got Robert De Niro, and then it's going through all these decades. So you're going to see him young, you're going to see him all the way up until he's an old man, and it's all about his life. And there's so much that I remember from the book that I can't wait to see on the screen, because it's such a great book. And Al Pacino, seeing him work with Scorsese for the first time, I'd be excited by that. It's going to be another legendary performance. The man's getting up there. All these actors are getting older, so who knows? This could be the last great movie that these guys all make together.
Probably will be the last time we see these guys all together on the screen. Sad, but true. Steering away from all early reviews. Mm-hmm. I've seen scores, and that's it. I haven't read shit about it. Pretty much. I just read like a little small blurb on it and saw how many stars. Yep. And everybody's, like you were saying, calling it his masterpiece, and definitely bringing back, Martin Scorsese and all these great actors into the mobster world, bringing them back into the mobster world. So I'm beyond excited for this. I can't wait to watch this, sit down, and just fall into this world that Scorsese creates. I'm really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to talking about it on a review as well, and talking to you about it in future podcasts. Yeah, we will dive in deep on that one for sure. And a 3.5 hour runtime that apparently just flies by. One little blurb I read said that you'll wish that it keeps going for another hour even after that. It's so just everything's just don't so want well it done. Yeah, the story's told so well. And everything flows, it's just you just want it to keep going. And don't stop, Marty, don't stop. Yeah. So no pressure, nothing to live up to. But can't wait, man. Can't wait to see it finally. With you, man. One of the most anticipated films of the decade, The Irishman. Finally getting to see it here in a few weeks. Looking forward to it. That about wraps it up for this episode 51 of Cinephellas Podcast. We talked about a lot of great content. Disney Plus streaming service that was released today, so go over there, subscribe to that service, watch all these great films and TV shows and movies from the past. And we talked about other films that we just checked out, Dr. Sleep, That's a Highway with Logan Marshall-Green, the director. I had the interview of that on our YouTube channel and on Apple Podcasts as well. And talked about a lot of great movie news and TV news, and had a great time talking to you, Henry, Harry, Harvey, and Henrietta Hill. That's a lot of Hills there. The Hill family's big, and they're all H's. They keep growing each week. So yeah, it's always stay tuned. It's always a pleasure talking to you, Wild Rascals, about movies and TV shows. Looking forward to a lot of content coming up our way in the next few months during the holiday season. I was going to say Halloween season. During the holiday season, Christmas time, lots of great stuff on Disney Plus and movies that we're going to be rambling about. Hopefully you guys enjoy our conversations here on the Cinephellas Podcast. Yes, sir. Yep. With the winter months coming here, we're going to be hibernating. We're going to be stuck inside. Me and Logan are just going to be binge watching movies and shows, and we're going to come on here and talk about it. So hopefully you guys listen to us. You can always email us, cinephellas@gmail.com. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section. Let us know what you want us to talk about more, what we can do better, what you guys like, whatever. Just send us a reply, send us a message. Let us know you guys are listening. If you want to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, that would be great. Thank you for following. Yeah, any feedback is fantastic. We love that stuff. We love doing this stuff for you guys, talking about everything we know in the entertainment business and, broadcasting on our podcast each week. And love to hear from you guys. So if you have any thoughts, leave them in the comments, review us, and keep spreading the love of Cinephellas. So this is Logan Myerz and
Henry Hill.
Signing out from Cinephellas Studios with Cinephellas Podcast, episode 51. Stay tuned. We got another podcast coming your way next week. Until next time,
Come on down to Big Ray's.
Cheers, boys.
Love that barbecue and automotive services. Love Big Ray.